He's the guy that really should. Remember, I told you when we start moving to Odysseus and the statesmanship and wisdom and the power of the tongue or the power of the sword, Odysseus actually is the representative of wisdom, even though he was one of the best and one of the greatest soldiers. Okay, but it's about wisdom for him. What's his choice?
Swan.
Does he choose a swan?
That's Orpheus.
No, that was Orpheus. That was the first one. Yeah, that was Orpheus. Yeah. What does Odysseus choose? It's just 3 lines down from the Ajax section.
But just be quiet and like simple.
Yeah, read. Somebody read the passage where we talk about this.
There came also the soul of Odysseus, having yet to make a choice, and his lot happened to be the last of them all. Now the recollection of former toils had disenchanted him of ambition, and he went out about for a considerable time in search of a life of a private man who had no cares. He had some difficulty in finding this, which was lying about and had been neglected by everybody else. And when he saw it, he said that he would have done the same had this lot been first instead of last, and that he was delighted to have it.
So he chose to have a
Just a
private life with no cares. Because of his previous trials, disabused of the idea. Remember, he comes back like 20 years later. Like, he doesn't reappear till like 10 years after Troy, after it was sacked. He had the Odyssey essentially is the 10 years it takes him to get home, right? This goes back to this whole balance and harmony and all that kind of stuff. When he says, what's the first? Read the first line on that again.
There came also the soul of Odysseus, having yet to make a choice, and his lot happened to be the last of them all.
Keep going.
Now the recollection of former toils had disenchanted him of ambition, and he went about.
Disenchanted him of ambition. Ain't that something? This is part of, when he was too concerned about, when he was honor seeking. Right? Now we're getting a depiction of him he sees beyond honor. In the warrior code, it was only honor that mattered, and he had tons of it. Now we're getting a depiction of him here. He went through all that stuff, and what he learned was the small little hurting life actually is the most virtuous life. And all this other stuff will get you in trouble and give you all sorts of issues and all that. So even though that might seem like the most, once again, the shiny thing, right? Here's a guy who lived that life and was honored tremendously in life. Okay? And he still chooses something that's more contemplative and small. And for Plato, that's a big deal once again, because it's not like being a philosopher is going to give you a ton of honor. Right? You're not going to go out there. You're not Achilles. You don't get the big, nice swords and all that kind of junk. And you don't get that kind of stuff. So the life you live, and now who's this? So a private citizen with no cares in Athens. Who's that sound like?
Like a farmer?
Kind of like a farmer, maybe a farmer. Have we had any depictions of a character that would fit that description? Just a bald description. Private citizen with no cares, just going about his life, hanging out.
Would Tiresias?
Probably, but I'm thinking of somebody that we've talked about quite a bit. Who might be the person talking at this point in the actual Republic? Socrates. What did Socrates do? He was he just hung out. He did stuff in the past, right? He had been a soldier, and had played some political roles and stuff like that. But just a small life of the philosopher. So the Socratic idea, so Socrates, ironically, idealizes kind of the life that he lives in the end.
So is he basically asking him to come back as a philosopher then?
I would say, yeah. I would say, one, here's somebody who has lived his life wise and has all the honors that go along with that are over and above this. And part of what he gets is the wisdom to make the right choice the next time around. So that remember, Odysseus, you guys know the song King of Pain? Odysseus' name, that's about Odysseus, right? And Odysseus' name means man of pain or king of pain. So as wise as he is and all that kind of stuff, like his name actually means painful. It's about a painful life. So he would be somebody who's like, you know what? I don't want that life again. Other people, I mean, the people are singing about me and my ideals, you know, thousands of years later. And that's great. So he's lived that life, right? But he wouldn't live it twice. Having lived that life, and that's kind of when he finished up and finally connected with Penelope and revealed himself and all that. It was about making everything small.
So the duty aspect of sort of once you reach the highest state, it's like your duty to the state essentially to give back and be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't apply sort of between lives. So now that he's coming back more wise, it's fine for him to be a private citizen and not do anything for anyone else.
He's not coming back more wise. Because remember, first of all, what's the last step in all of this? What's the last step in this method? What's the last thing?
Drinking that stuff that makes you forget.
Unmindfulness and forgetfulness. So his wisdom stands for him to the moment that he makes the choice of his next life. Then all is erased. So he doesn't have the benefit of that after he chooses the life. Okay? But he would have chosen the life that would potentially would put him into, I mean, well born, potentially to get this. But no, he's not born a philosopher king now. Right? Even if he made the decision that a philosopher king in life would have made when they were dead.
Yeah, it just makes
You see what I'm saying?
He would put himself back as a guardian, so he would possibly have
Yeah, private citizen. If you're talking private citizen, like you're talking about the elite class. Right? Somebody's not having to go out there and work and all that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? But there's an autonomy that the person has. You see what I mean? Let's take the last. So we've done the Republic. So the leadership. Well, any critiques of this? We started talking about what rub people the wrong way last time. Are there any kind of other critiques based on it? We kind of laid out, really today, when you think about it, like we just basically laid out the whole Republic. And like the logic of the book is sitting all right here. Okay? We like it? Zach, your hand?
I just about like the fact that like they say you make your own decision, but like I think it is a testament to maybe predestination and not really there's no independence at all because even the decisions you're making in the life before you make the decision, maybe in theory you would make those decisions either.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a vicious cycle, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I really agree that there's any independence at all.
Let me do this over here. And I mean, the powerful images of the